Hi, it's Brooke, and we are going to start another bake with me. I have an old recipe that I've been using for years I'm going to cook with you, and then a new one. So let's get to baking. The first recipe is my Swedish apple pie, and I did make that in one of my first videos, and I will link that below on kind of how I do my apples and stuff when I get abundance of apples in fall time. But today I'm just gonna make up the pie here and kind of show you as I go along. You know, I'll do this and then I'll talk to you about it and everything like that. I'll show you the recipe here to start. I was gonna make another type of pie, but I only have enough eggs for one of them, so you'll have to stay tuned for the next pie because that should be after this. This is the Swedish apple pie recipe. I have shown this before. I do not use the nuts, and I put it in for less than 45 minutes. It might even be less than 40. So I've done buttered the plate, sprinkled in the apples. It's about 3/4 full of your pie plate, it says. And then I did a tablespoon of sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. I know my apples look bad. I did freeze them. They're the Honey Crisp kind. And when I thawed them, they are completely brown, which I'm baking them in a pie. They're going to turn brown anyways. So if you're wondering why my apples look a little weird, that's why. So I put in the melted butter, sugar, eggs, flour, and salt. No nuts for this, although now that I think about it, that would probably taste pretty good, but we're just not nuts in our food kind of people. So I just leave those out. Maybe sometime I'll have to try it with nuts. This kind of just makes like a sugar cookie dough is how we think of it, and it's kind of like an upside down pie. So I'm going to put it in the oven now at 350, and I'm going to start it for 35 minutes, and we'll see if I need to go any longer. So I did have to do it for 40 minutes, and it's still sizzling, and it smells so good and just delicious. I'm gonna have this with some vanilla ice cream and my tortellini bake from HelloFresh, and I will let you know how it was. We are back for round 2 of pies. I have a brand new pie recipe that I've never made before. I found it in volume 1 of the Magnolia Table Cookbook, and I have most of the ingredients. A couple I had to go get, but it's basically everything that I've had in the house already, just a few special ones. So let's get to baking that pie. This is the brownie pie recipe from the Magnolia Table Cookbook. The things that I had to go get were the unsweetened chocolate, and then the pie crust, and the chopped pecans, which I had pie crust left over from a different pie, and then the pecans from my Christmas baking video. So here is the instructions. I'm going to preheat the oven to 350, and then we'll get to melting and baking and all that fun stuff. Well, my pie crust did not unroll very nice, so I'm just trying to meld it back together here before I put it in my dish. I always have a hard time getting these even on the sides. See, look, it's way high here, way short here. It's not too bad this time. The butter and unsweetened chocolate is almost all melted. Got one chunk of butter left. So I need to remove from heat and then whisk in sugar until smooth. So now I'm going to bake until just set and crust forms on the top. It says about 1 hour, so I think I'm going to put it in for 50 minutes. Cool to room temperature and wire rack, and then we're going to dust with powdered sugar just before serving. Yeah, so I think this pretty much speaks for itself. I should have probably cooked it 10 to maybe even 15 minutes less than I did, so like 25 to 30 minutes, I don't know. But everything's nice and dark, I guess. If you want a really dark brownie pie, this is how you cook it. I know my oven cooks hot, so I figured 10 minutes less would probably be good, but I probably should have done 20. So here it is. I will let you know how it tastes when it cools off here and we sample it, but that's the state of it right now. Well, the brownie pie, The brownie pie didn't taste super burnt, but the crust is a little burnt. The brownie itself was still moist and everything. It wasn't all dried out, so I think it's just that store-bought pie crust that maybe just browned up too much because it was cooked too long. I would still probably put it in for less and then check it, you know, just to see how that crust is doing and if it has a layer on the top. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna stick to box brownies. I mean, it's good, but it was a lot more work. Shut up, phone. That was a lot more work than I probably needed to do. That was a lot more work than I probably needed to do, so I tasted it. It was pretty good. We'll see what the hubs thinks. He's the big brownie fan in the house, and it would go really well with some scoop of vanilla ice cream and a glass of milk. That is all I have. I hope you enjoyed both of my pie recipes. If you like to make pies and like brownies and know how to do pie crust, I recommend this one. Otherwise, if you're me, I'm gonna stick with the box. And the Swedish apple pie, that is always a favorite. That turns out for me every time now, so that will be sticking around my baking at my house for quite a while. So I hope you like this video, got some inspiration. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.